Welcome to Cinema 5D on the Go. Moving conversations about moving images with filmmakers and industry leaders. Brought to you by Hedge for Mac, Rode Microphones, G Technology, and Zachtler, in association with Ford. This is your host, Nino Leitner.
So good morning. This is the first episode of On the Go that you're going to see. Ooh, it's bright. Our new talk show, now recorded in the car. I'm picking up our crew now. Oh, there they are. Hello.
Good morning.
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 Finally the last day.
Yep. Good morning. Morning, guys. You excited for the last day of IBC?
Sure. Yeah.
Olaf, it's your first time here, right?
Yeah, it's my first time actually. Yeah.
So what do you think?
Yeah, I'm very excited, obviously, because it's my first time. But in the end, I think we see not that many new big announcements in terms of camera, but in terms of lenses. And
it's crazy how much it was about lenses, right? I mean, who did we have? We had Ingenieur, we had Zeiss, we had Sony with new lenses, we had Tokina, what else? Sigma?
I think
Sigma.
the nice thing is it's finally coming. I mean, we spoke about zoom lenses for large sensor cameras about 5 or 6 years ago.
True.
Because the camera started to appear and actually everybody went, okay, what lens do I use to put on that camera? When you're running and doing documentaries, it's not so physical and practical to change lenses all the time.
Well, especially the range of zooms that we have from photography that we were forced to use, right? For especially documentary stuff is kind of
I like the
crappy.
focus, endless
I mean,
focus.
and now
that's great.
Yeah,
I mean,
and now we have a range like cameras that start at 18 or 21.
Yeah. So the nice thing is to see this becoming affordable. You know, affordable, of course, is a very flexible term.
Yeah.
But when we have now competition, it will get more and more affordable. I'm sure we have seen nothing yet.
So what if you had, like all of you, if you had to get a lens, what lens would you get? Other than new ones that are announced.
If I can afford that, it would be the Ingenieur, I guess, because it's super flexible in terms of mounting and you can switch out the rear block and stuff for different sensor sizes. And that's a cool thing because all these cameras are having a lifespan of what, 6 months, a year maybe?
Yeah, so short now.
It's not that bad now, but it's
and then you can just keep the lens and save your investment and then change to whatever camera you might own.
I mean, in terms of like flexibility of how you shoot with things, it's always the camera that's going to kind of change first. I mean, even if you don't own a camera, you'll always like hire a camera. But also, if you had like even if it was 1 or 2 lenses, like the Zeiss, is it 28 to 100?
21.
21 to 100. Something like that, where it's a real kind of, it can be like a kind of workhorse lens that you use it for like a lot of different kind of work. And I think well, for me it would be somewhat like out of the ideal kind of price range, but I like the idea that now obviously Sigma have their range of Cine lenses, of Cine zooms, and obviously they had great like feedback, and the quality of their art lenses is fantastic. So being able to have that in a cinema lens package is really interesting, especially for the video side of stuff, where you don't want to rely on like short light focus rings, and you want to have basically more control.
It's also very smart what they did, I think. I mean, yeah, can you?
Oh no! Oh no!
Actually, that was interesting in the Sigma interview that we did. That they very openly said that it's completely based on their existing.
It was the art range.
Range, you know, it's nothing really new. But I mean, they basically catch the market that somebody else had before, like other companies that rehoused their own lenses into cinema lenses, and now they do it themselves. So it's kind of smart.
I haven't touched.
I took the wrong turn.
Just keep going, and then you can make a U-turn again on the left.
See. So Eric in the back, by the way, I didn't introduce Eric. Eric is the local here. Hey, Eric. What do you want to say, Johnny?
You can go.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. I haven't touched some of the lenses, and when I say touch, I mean not just to smoosh it, but really to work with it.
Smudge it. Yeah.
That's right. Also, the lens that I like most right now is the Sony one. I mean, it's the f4 doesn't frighten me, especially with the high ISO sensitivity of the cameras we're working. The quality is really, really good. I think the move to introduce an APS-C sensor zoom lens, I think it's very, very smart. And this particular lens is even more advanced than the original one. The Canon one, I haven't tried it yet. The biggest problem right now, I mean, this lens is being marketed as a cinema documentary lens, and the focus is, again, it's an endless focus. There are no hard stops, which mean how you're gonna mount, if anybody wanna work with follow focus, for example, or do a run and gun thing, you're back to as if you're working with a photo lens. The size, you worked with it, you know how good or not it is for run and gun stuff. And the Sigma, again, it looks nice. I think the range is maybe not ideal for now. But
the Sigmas? Yeah. I mean, the Sigmas are very much targeted, I think, at replacing primes. It's more like a flexible prime kind of. I mean, to have a 50-100 is kind of useless to have on the shoulder. The same, I think, with a 16-35. It's like, it's very wide.
Where are we?
Well, we're getting there. It's very far for us. Oh, whoops.
Where are you going?
Sorry. I mean, those are completely different lenses. I think the ones that are competing is the Sony lens, the 18-110, which is Super 35 with the Zeiss, obviously, which is a very similar focal range, 21-100, and
she's pretty.
We have to cut that out. No, I'm kidding. And then the Ingenieur and the Fujinon that was already announced. So they are all kind of in the same price bracket, similar, except for the Sony, obviously, which is much cheaper.
There were no camera announcements, as we saw, and I think some of the manufacturers are still struggling to deliver stuff. And I don't want to go into names. It really doesn't matter. Producing a camera obviously is not an easy thing.
Oh, look, the kids are dancing and fighting in the car ahead of us.
Yeah, they're dancing. I think what is fast would cater the higher market, while Canon would cater consumers and maybe prosumers with some video cameras. And what is happening now is something like that. Sony is coming down.
Good point, actually. I never thought about that.
Sony is coming down to the people with the A7 series, and actually Canon completely deserted that part, that segment, or not completely, but mostly.
Well, pretty much for film people, definitely.
Yeah, and going up where Sony would have been before. So.
But it's funny how they jump around. Like Sony and Panasonic started at the top. Like Sony started with the f/65, and then kind of introduced 55.5, f/5, 55. Then much later, the FS7, and then Panasonic did the same with the Varicam 35 and then the Varicam LT. But Canon started with the C300, which is like in the middle, lower end, and then they jumped up to the C500 as a detour, and then did the C100. So it's like, it's a bit all over the place. But let's see how. I mean, I hope they're very lucky, because I still think the color science, or like the out-of-the-box image, still the nicest with Canon. That's the one thing that sometimes is a bit difficult, I think, with Sony cameras. Is like what it looks like out of the camera is very, it needs work. It's not usable like that.
Yes. No, sorry, it's Sony. They just cancelled our advertisement campaign. Yeah. No. We love your cameras. We like the cold look.
Damn it!
Everything
I forgot
is fine.
this is a live stream.
We will color correct it. Thank you. Bye.
But what do you think, guys?
Well, I think, and it kind of shows with like how some people reacted to when the 5D Mark IV was announced, was that there is still this kind of market of people that are willing to spend, like in my case, a few £1,000s, like up into the $3,000 kind of mark, for like a full frame camera that shoots really high quality video. So there is, especially for Canon, there is that kind of market there. But there are people there that would be willing to spend money if it was something like a C200,
Yeah.
a video camera, rather than a DSLR.
Well, they're still insisting. They're kind of insisting that the photo and video is separate. And but the truth is, the world has moved on.
Well, they created a segment, and
Yeah, they
try
created-
to run away from it.
Yeah.
Which is, but
Yeah.
yeah, we
If you look at workshops, I mean, the workshops that we're giving, right? Like a few years ago, on the workshops that I gave, were like everybody had the 5D Mark II. Really, everybody. And if they didn't have a 5D Mark II, they had the 550D, T2i, or T3i, whatever came after that. And now it's literally every single person has an A7S.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like there's maybe, if you have 20 people, there might be 2 left that still use Canon DSLRs. If I was Canon and I looked at that, I would be worried, even though it's the low end. But those are the people, especially those are the people, the workshop people that are willing to spend money on education. Those are the ones that are becoming the next big professionals. Those are the ones who will buy the next, and you're more likely to buy a Sony if you already used a Sony.
Yeah, but the problem is different. Canon is targeting the photographers. And they will see, there are many photographers that think that this is a great photo camera, and probably it is, the 5D Mark IV.
It certainly is, yeah.
So they will not really see a decrease in numbers. People will buy it. What actually they might miss is the extra people that will buy it for video. You know, but if it's a successful camera for photographers, they will not see this decline in. They just wouldn't realize what is the decline here. From the Sony side, it's different, because Sony is a newcomer to the photo cameras, and they can see increase in sales, and of course they'll say, oh, the increase is probably not due to photographers, but it's due to videographers. You know, Fujifilm is a very interesting company to look at. What will be the next move, because they discovered 4K in photo cameras, and they don't have a higher market to protect. And the other company that I'm very, very anxious to try their camera and see how they will do is the Kinefinity, Chinese company. And the next Terra with there will be 2 models. One is with an older sensor, a 6K sensor, and the other one with a newer sensor, a 5K sensor. The size is really, really small, almost like a DSLR, and the price is affordable. When the revolution started, and I always thought that smaller companies like, like Olympus, for example, if you want to shine, try to cater the videographers, and suddenly you have a whole new segment. That's another problem. All those companies are looking for the existing users, and this is a mistake. You should forget. Your loyal existing users will keep buying you, but if you want to earn more money, just make better tools.
Especially if you think, sorry, but...
It's okay, you can cut me anytime you want. Anyway, it's not important, who cares?
So we have arrived at the RAI, the convention center, but we're looking for parking.
We will pick up our suitcases.
I can leave you guys out if you want.
Say goodbye.
And I will look for parking.
Yeah, this is possible too.
Oh my god, what is going on here with parking? Oh shit, this is a one-way street? Okay, so we have arrived at the RAI now. We are waiting in line to get a parking ticket, parking space, maybe a ticket, who knows. Yeah, tune in for the next show of On The Go. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we are moving more next time than right now. Bye.